Monica Jefferson lost her son, Malcolm Jefferson, to gun violence in 2013, and now she's a voice for him and other people who've lost their lives to gun violence. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Ms. Jefferson one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores, or listen to this interview later on the free Quintin's Close-Ups iHeartRadio podcast. Well, Ms. Jefferson, it's so good to see you again.
Wonderful seeing you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I know the last time I interviewed you was July 17th of last year.
Okay.
And, we talked about, obviously, your son's tragic loss back in 2013.
Right.
What is it like for you, Monica Jefferson, these days?
I'm learning how to pretty much live with the death of my son, learning how to accept it. The pain is still there, just like it was from day one. That never goes away. The grief is still there like it is from day one. That never goes away. You somehow or another just pretty much learn to live your new normal, because that's what it is, a new normal. The person that you were before no longer exists. So you have to figure out the person that you are now and adjust to living the life with such a tremendous loss.
Let me turn here to the College of Charleston. I know this is the headline from live5news.com. Low country students, Florida school shooting survivors, push for stricter gun laws at town hall meeting. And obviously that was the headline from live5news.com.
Yes.
And let me read to you a portion of that article. It reads this: the students said their main goal with the tour is to register people to vote, educate people on important issues surrounding gun legislation, and encourage people to vote during elections. Before the town hall, the Parkland students met with survivors of the June 17, 2015 Mother Emanuel AME church shooting to share their experiences together. Students there tonight said that the main reason for their tour and for their attendance in Charleston was to discuss gun legislation and encourage people to vote. Personally, talk to me about your experience with the Parkland shooting survivors.
Those young people are amazing. I have never seen such young people with such drive against gun violence. You look around and you see what's happening in our community with gun violence and the young people that have lost their life to it. I told them on yesterday, I hope and pray that a lot of people, young people, tuned in to these young folks from Parkland, and I hope that they pick up some of their behavior. These young people, to have survived such a tragedy, and that was such a tragedy for them, to hear them talk, the passion, the drive in fighting gun legislation, they taught me something. Looking at them, I mean, if I ever had a thought of falling back or giving up in the slightest, they re-encouraged me to go and continue my fight as far as my son and other families that have lost children to gun violence. Those young people, I can't say enough. I told them, I just couldn't stop hugging them yesterday. I was like, you guys inspire me. You guys really inspire me to continue this fight. You let me know that this struggle that I'm on and what I'm fighting for is real and it's worth it. Just looking at you guys. I just wish so many people tuned into that yesterday. I really do.
And let me reread the portion of that article again. It reads this: the Parkland survivors wanted to educate people on important issues surrounding gun legislation. So how do you educate people now in 2018 about that?
Oh, there's a lot to teach them. There are a lot of things that I've learned as far as the gun legislation laws are concerned. I think in listening to them speak, there is so much out there that we don't know about. Just like I found out yesterday, I didn't even hear about it. I don't know how I missed it, about this 3D gun.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how I missed that. They taught me about that on yesterday. They talked about issues with the legislation as far as passing gun laws. There are a lot of things that these children went through as far as talking to our representatives. And there is so much to learn if the kids are willing to listen. And I think what they're doing, going around, traveling, and stopping in the communities and talking, there is a lot of education going on from these children. You are learning so much. If you're able to attend the town meetings, you will learn so much from them.
Gun violence. You also said this during a press conference last night that you have spoken countless times urging citizens to speak out against gun violence. You also said, quote, "We've got to stop losing our children to the streets." Speaking out against gun violence, where are these people's voices right now?
That's a good question. That's a question I often ask myself. It's unfortunate, and these young people spoke of that yesterday too. We have so many young people that are murdered, and we know nothing about them. We don't hear anything about them on the news. We only pick up on little things as far as social media is concerned. But it's up to the families to speak out for these kids. The same way I speak out for my son, I am Malcolm Jefferson. I am his voice. These families have to take on that same mentality. You have to speak up for your children. If no one knows anything about them, you have to be their voice. You have to stand up strong. You have to speak up against gun violence. It's up to us to get into the mind of these young people and let them see what such tragedies in our lives, the pain that it caused, not only us, different families, the community as a whole is at such a great loss when we lose. We're losing our generations. Our kids keep dying out the way that they are. Who's going to be our next generation? They're taking our kids from us, and they have to understand, and it's unfortunate, like one of the students say, you know, it's our black and brown people that's doing a whole lot of these shootings and murders. It's our young people. Our young people, we just had a double homicide here recently, that we lost a 15 and 17-year-old to unfortunate senseless gun violence.
And let me take you to that to West Ashley. Ray Riviere, that is from Live 5 News, wrote this on live5news.com on July 19th, quote, "Charleston police say a teen gunman charged with murder fatally shot a 15-year-old moments after the teen shot and killed another 17-year-old at a West Ashley apartment complex. Bond was denied for 17-year-old Zamira Brown of Johns Island, who faces 1 count of murder and possession of a firearm during the commission of a violent crime. Newly released affidavit state Brown fatally shot 15-year-old Teo Cuz Williams after Williams shot 17-year-old Jaquel Young during Thursday's bond court hearing. That is, you also obviously lost your son to the shooting. You spoke on behalf of the Williams family, and you said this, quote, "When you commit a crime like that, that mother has lost something that she will never ever get in her life back." You said that obviously when you talk to the family, what is it like for you to talk to the family now? But more importantly, when you think of the shooting, what is it like for you as a mother?
You relive it all over again. You relive that moment that you got. As soon as I heard about these young kids' murder, it took me back to October 8th, 2013, when my son was murdered on his 18th birthday. It took me back to that very moment. And right then and there, it tells you, I said to myself, I've got to reach out to this mother.
Okay.
I've got to reach out to this mother. And especially due to the fact that this is the mother's second 15-year-old that she lost to gun violence. I knew I had to get to her and speak to her. And and through speaking to her, she said one thing. I saw a post on Facebook that just enlightened me so much when she said, "I am their voice." So that lets me know that she realizes that she has to stand up on behalf not only for one of her kids, but 2 of her children lost. 2 15-year-olds she lost to senseless gun violence. This mother has to stand up. She realizes she has to let her voice be heard, and she has to speak for her kids.
Where will your voice go next in this debate over gun violence and gun legislation?
Hopefully I will be with the Parkland students, as far as going and speaking out. I realize that I do have to take it a step further and go and speak out to legislature as far as gun violence. Speak out. If I can get other mothers to go along with me to Columbia at the State House and let them hear our voices, somehow or another get them to listen. And, a few years back, I went to Washington with the Brady campaign.
Right.
And we did speak to Tim Scott. And he took all of our email addresses to contact us. Unfortunately, that never happened. So, of course, that was a bitter pill in my mouth, as far as speaking out for our children in legislature. But I think if more mothers get together and we go out there in numbers and we make them listen to us, that will be my next step as far as going forward in speaking out on behalf of my son and the other children that are lost to the community.
Monica Jefferson, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Always good seeing you.
Good seeing you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.